Good afternoon, Justice Warriors. I'm back. I hope that you guys are having a great day. I know Mondays can be rough, and the last Monday before the Christmas holiday, particularly rough for some folks. The holidays are super stressful. They are for me. I'll admit it. I mean, I try just to enjoy them, but with kids especially, it's like there's all this pressure to make it magical, and I kind of feel like I do that every day, so I don't need the extra added pressure. So I just try to chill and go with it. What else can you do? So I got back on here today to this afternoon, since we had a nice long live this morning. That was totally awesome, you guys. Thank you so much for all that were able to participate and join me. And I don't see anybody in the chat yet, but if you're here and you want to say something, then I just know that you're here and that the sound is working and all that good stuff. I got on here because there were a couple of things that I had not clarified earlier that were hanging out in the wind that I did get some more information on. So I wanted to share with you what I've learned about, let's see, Jack D was allegedly set to graduate this coming April, as was Maddie. This is according to allegedly with Brittany. So let me kick her some credit for getting that information. And I don't know 100% that that's accurate, but it sounds quite plausible. So my thought is, if Jack and Maddie were both going to be graduating basically in 6 months or 4 months now, and Kaylee was already moved to Austin. She was set to start her new job, I think, February. So I have speculated that she may have been in conversation with Maddie about Maddie moving to Austin as well. So just an idea, and that could have been really upsetting for her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, if he was not in the plan. So I got nobody in chat. Oh, Lori, thank you so much. Hey, girl. I was just about to give up and say, well, I'll just keep this super short then, because there's just a couple pieces of information. Nice to see you, Lori Myers. I don't recognize your name. I don't know if I just have skipped over it or if you're new to the channel, but welcome. Thank you so much for being here and for saying hello. So let's see. The Atom, right? That's been like all the news over the weekend. The Atom, that Adam that is the bartender is the same Adam that is Jack's roommate, or maybe Jack's ex-roommate. So that I'd like to kick some credit to Drip Drop at Crime Circus. He just did a video drop this morning about Adam being the roommate and potentially ex-roommate, and at the same time that he is the bartender and a frat brother of Jack D's, if I caught that accurately. So just a little clarification there. And I wanted to recommend a couple of really good channels to you guys that I don't know how many times I've ever mentioned. Bed Crime Stories. I really like her. Allegedly with Brittany also. And then I think it's Crime Stories Obsessed UK. So just throwing a few out there that I like so much. So I was listening to Allegedly with Brittany, and they were talking, the chat or the guest panel and her were talking about the name Jack and why do we have so many Jacks in this story. And I guess they're coming up with other Jacks in addition to Jack D, Jack S, and Jack K. And I was going to look up what year Pirates of the Caribbean was made with Jack Sparrow. Haven't watched Crime Circus's new video. Hey, yeah, that is, he doesn't usually do them so many, so close together. But yeah, he's on a roll right now. And he said he was going to have a bunch of them on his other channel, Crime Circus Cult. So that's exciting. I did get a chance to watch the new Upchurch, and I was very pleased with that drop. Also, Captain Kurt Reacts had done a new one today, just a couple hours ago. So yeah, it's interesting that there's activity happening, it seems, on the Kylie Rodney front. So that would be fantastic to see something going on for justice for Kylie. Would that not be the coolest? Um, so I was speaking earlier about the possibility of there being more than one assailant in the quadruple homicide there in Moscow. And I've said a couple of times, my personal opinion is that it is probably one assailant, even though that seems pretty outlandish when you have four victims. I still wonder, I've heard one or two other channels mention the idea of somebody getting roofied. In particular, I think one of the channels was mentioning Maddie being roofied because she doesn't look that drunk when she's walking on that surveillance video from the corner club to the grub hub. But then at the grub hub, she does look pretty drunk. Have you seen CCTV's video about the BS that she's going through? I'm so sad. Yeah, I did watch it. It's super depressing, isn't it? But I'm glad for her and for Squirrel Girl that they're doing what they need to do, what they feel like they have to do to be safe and happy. Mountain Girl 212 had done something similar a few months ago for a few months, and she's been back up and running recently. So, I have a feeling that it's a lot of threatening coming from Truckee, coming from the Kylie Rodney case. So, I know that Squirrel Girl and CCTV had a huge, horrible, awful situation going on with a creator whose name we shall not say, like Beetlejuice, right? um, and you know, so yes, a YouTube creator, but I do wonder if there's some efforts coming from the town of Truckee, from the community of Truckee, to shut down anybody working on the Kylie Rodney case. So, you know, if they're making those efforts, to me, that says a lot. Um, and let's see. That's what I was thinking. Slip something. I've been slip something. It would be easy for anyone to do that crime if they were slip something. I couldn't move or talk, but I could hear. Wow, Rhonda. Yeah, I think I was slip something one time too, and I just fell right to sleep. Um, so I know. Lori Myers says, did you see the video from an apparent family member of law enforcement that gave an account of the Idaho events that night? I did see that video, I think, if it's the same one, and I wasn't convinced at all that it was genuine. There's so much fraudulent activity when you've got, the keyboard warrior type of thing going on. So you can put out fake information and be basically hidden. I think of like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, right? Yes, Lori says, I love Mountain Girl. Yeah, she did. I think it was a live today, and I was trying to check it out, but she was having some technical difficulty. So I don't know if she might be doing it right now or if she had to shut it down. It was a lot of what we already know, right? With the law enforcement. Yeah. There's so much activity around the was it 4chan or was it Reddit where somebody put up these posts that were pretty nasty, using the C word and talking about frat boys being the ones to have been the assailants committing the homicides. And I personally put zero weight in that. And I could be wrong. I could be incorrect. But that whole thing, I think it was Reddit, But that whole thing really took Kaylee out of the picture as far as even being a potential target. It was like everybody was a target but Kaylee. So I was like, did Jack's friend do this or did Jack do this? Just my suspicion, just my suspicious mind. Um, don't leave your drinks lay around. I got to where I had to leave a drink. I just wouldn't drink if they had no smell or taste. Yes. Oh, thank you, Lori. It was on 4chan. Yeah, it just seemed to me like somebody was being a creative writer basically and kind of fantasizing that they had this inside information. Because if they had that inside information and they're putting it out there on 4chan and then they get discovered down the road from law enforcement that they had this information and that they put it on social media, but they didn't go to law enforcement, they could have some serious prison time for that type of, aiding and abetting and hindering an investigation and that sort of thing. Never leave your drinks. Absolutely. And just so people know, hold on one sec. Continue with your video. Just so people know, but this is a good thing to think about is even if you're not leaving your drink, if you are in a dark room, there's this thing that some guys do where they can shoot a syringe of basically a Spanish fly across the room and see if they can get it into your drink when you're not looking, if you're talking to people and you have your drink right there. But just so you know that that is a possibility that I've heard about. And yeah, so those were the main things I wanted to come on and talk about. The fact of Jack D possibly preparing to graduate in April. So still don't know about his like work status or um, if there was any issue with him and his fraternity. There were reports all along that Jack S was kicked out of a fraternity for anger issues, but I wonder if that's accurate, and I wonder if Jack D might have been kicked out of a fraternity for anger issues. I don't know. It's just sometimes the information, the wires get crossed, and it's like the telephone game. So it's just a question to put it out there. Um, so talking about the wounds that these poor individuals suffered and died from, there's been a lot of discussion, particularly from Steve, Kaylee's father, Steve Gonzalez, about two of the four victims having defensive wounds. So those two individuals, I think many folks have speculated it could be one of the girls, and I think maybe more likely Kaylee than Maddie. Um, I don't know. It's so much mixed information. The coroner had said that all four of them were killed in their sleep, basically, and then come to find out that Ethan was not in the bedroom. Maybe that he was even past the doorway and more like in the kitchen or in a community space. And then you guys have probably heard this, the horrible photographs with the red stuff coming out of the house. Allegedly, that is from poor Xana Kermodal. And then, the dog, you guys, I've said this a couple of times. To my information, the dog, Murphy, was put into Kaylee's old bedroom. So then Kaylee and Maddie were asleep in Maddie's bed. And then something that I had just heard in the last day is that, and this is real graphic, so beware. And, if you have PTSD and are easily triggered, I would say turn it off. Trigger warning, trigger alert. There, I've done it a couple of times, so I'm okay now, right? It's just so hard to talk about. But I found it interesting because it was the first time I'd heard this, and I don't know if it's accurate, but that Kaylee was essentially on top of Maddie, like that Maddie had been killed, and then Kaylee was maybe fighting, so maybe was one of the two with the defensive wounds. We know that her wounds were different and deeper and really extensive. But that she basically was collapsed on top of Maddie, making the crime scene more complicated for the investigators to, figure out the DNA strands of the blood and all that. I'm so sorry to be so graphic. Let me read a couple of your things here. Hey, Jazz. Hey, Sherry. Enjoy your video. Can always trust your video. Oh, thank you. I hope so. If I ever put information out that's inaccurate, I will totally address it. And if I ever miss anything, bring it to my attention, please. I'm not above making mistakes like that, but I do review my videos right after I do them, just in case something came out of my mouth that just was completely not accurate. And everything I say is simply my opinion. It is just purely speculation for the sake of conversation, opening up a discussion, and hoping to be educational. And, it's made specifically for YouTube. So there is an aspect of it that is entertainment, but we're not here for the entertainment. We're here for true crime, and we're really here for justice, right? Um, it's so cold here. I'm in Ohio. It's like 20 today, so I have my cardigan on. I kind of feel like Mr. Rogers in the afternoon with my slippers too. I've got slippers and my cardigan. So yeah, it's just so dreadful to think about what these people were experiencing, especially anybody who was aware of what was going on. What an awful nightmare. And the person who I think is the number one person of interest, and potentially acting alone, possibly acting with a co-conspirator. What I had said earlier about having a potential loose cannon, if you were to have anybody assist you in a crime like that, um, I mean, really, that person, no matter how well you know them, is a total wild card. Like, you just don't know. Plus, they would be able to blackmail you for the rest of your life. I mean, seriously. Um, in my opinion, whoever did this doesn't really care about their life or anybody else's, as much as they have the narcissistic tendencies that they care only about themselves. I can't imagine that they value their life that much to do what they did, knowing that if they get caught, they'll be put in prison for the rest of their lives, or maybe even sentenced to death. So often, when people commit those kinds of crimes, they kill themselves too. So I've just been very concerned about the fugitives' danger to self and others. I mean, especially danger to others, but even danger to self, because for a lot of family members, they need to see justice, not just the person, you know, offing themselves. I mean, it's a horrible, horrible situation to be in. But um, like with Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie, and even with Crystal Turner and um, Kaylin Schultz, the lesbian couple that was murdered in Moab a year ago, August 14th, 2 days after the domestic violence incident with Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito. That lesbian couple that was murdered, allegedly a guy named Adam murdered them, but he offed himself. That's a whole nother story. I don't really buy that story. I believe, I think for good reason, that there's a high possibility that Brian Laundrie murdered those two women as well. So I'll probably do a show about that. I don't want to get distracted by that in this one. I want to just keep it short and just stay focused on the Moscow Four. Let's see. Betty Jewel, hit that like button. Okay, a couple messages were retracted. That's fine. Oh my effing god, I finally caught alive. Hey, Dilly Owens. That's cute. So yes, if you don't mind, if you would like to, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed, and share the video if you like what you see. I am just, I've reiterated again and again how grateful I am for my subscribers and for having my channel. It's a really positive creative outlet for me. I hope that I'm putting some good out there in the world, and I hope that it's making a difference. I feel like together we can do so much more than any of us can do individually. And just to have the opportunity for people hearing what I have to say, and I hope that I have some good ideas. A lot of times I think I have good ideas, but it's always nice to hear what you guys think. You add so much. Oh, I'm late for a very important date, Pixie Knicker says. Hey, Squirrely Burger. Hey, Mark. So yeah, you guys are all here. I was just kind of winding down because I just had a few things to cover. We're just at 22 minutes. Let me see what else I got. I have been having my phone glued to my arm for over a week now. All is good. Oh, you mean for like getting notifications, or just for checking all this stuff out? Evil Exists also did a video about the Adam character. So I had mentioned the Crime Circus one earlier, and then I also saw that Evil Exists had just done one. And the channel I was speaking of earlier, the newer channel, Shelby Ray, I think it's RAIEGH, Shelby Ray Live. The person who says that she's a local to the Pullman, Moscow area. And for people that aren't familiar with that area, Moscow is Idaho and Pullman is Washington, but they're literally 9 miles apart. And people from either area consider it to be kind of the same town. It's kind of just like opposite ends of town. She says they're both really progressive college towns, having lived in Western Washington for a long time, which is pretty progressive. Eastern Washington is known for being very conservative. Idaho is known for being very conservative. So to think of those towns as progressive, I was at Evergreen State College in Seattle, so we definitely did not see Washington State University or University of Idaho as progressive at all, but it's all relative, right? So it's just kind of funny to hear them being called progressive. It's all relative. It's definitely all relative. Let's see. What did you think about the Ryan Upchurch video? Squirrely Burger, there were two. So there was the one he did yesterday and the one he did today. Sorry, my nose is like super itchy all of a sudden. So I don't know which one. Let me read through here. Alive now. I am so happy, happy, happy. Beloved, I love the lives. Oh, yay. Well, we'll keep it going for a few minutes. I don't want to do too long because I did a pretty long one this morning. And there's just a lot to get done in a day. I love being with you guys. I feel like I learn so much, and I just really enjoy the exchange. So I appreciate you and thank you for being here. Squirrely Burger says, as many times as we watched that fire cam video and the most obvious thing was never pointed out or even thought about, the clouds never moved. What a simple thought. I feel dumb. You know what, Squirrely Burger, don't feel dumb. Just don't. I mean, it's so easy to be fooled, and it's terrible that there's blood-sucking master manipulators out there that want to gaslight everyone. Like everyone. That whole freaking fire cam was one big gaslight. So I'll talk about that more in a minute. But yeah, so you're talking about Upchurch's video that he put out today, where he's talking about that fire cam. I always despised everything about the fire cam from top to bottom because so many reasons, and I liked Upchurch's spin on it. And yeah, I've never trusted it. So I'm wondering, with this new video footage of Maddie and Kylie, Kaylee, sorry, walking down the street from the bar to the food truck with Adam, I'm really wondering if or no, they're not walking with Adam. They're walking with Hoodie Guy, and then they are talking about Adam. So, uh, the Adam that was the bartender and the Adam that is maybe Jack's ex-roommate. But I wrote down the quote here of exactly what was said. Maddie, what did you say to Adam? But the way she says it, Maddie, what did you say to Atom? Like very, very articulate, like carefully making sure to enunciate each letter of the word. And then Maddie allegedly, apparently says, I told Adam everything. And I'm sorry, the fact that they said Adam's name twice, the fact that each one of them said his name, just as they happened to be passing by that surveillance camera, is too convenient. I'm not buying it. I'm just not. I'm going to just put my foot down and say no. I'm going to read a few of your comments and then get back onto that. And I have it written down in front of me so I won't forget. So Squirrely Burger, I was saying, don't feel dumb. The clouds never moved. What a simple thought. I feel dumb. There's so much to those videos. I mean, I gave them the possibility of being not 100% bullshit. And like I said from the get-go, they're obviously real videos. I mean, it's a video, yes. It's just, is it what it says it is? It's just absolute bullshit that we all need to worry about people trying to trick us all the time. But that's just life. I'll tell you, the first words I taught any of my kids were rip off. And I'm not kidding. And now that they're older, we talk about them sometimes. We talk about that sometimes. I'm like, remember, those were the first words I taught you. Everyone's trying to scam you all the time. Everyone's out to get you. I don't like to be pessimistic, but I do like to be realistic. So yeah, it's completely fucked up that, remember, Megan came out the night before and said, oh, there's this thing coming in 24 hours and you'll all know what I'm talking about and it'll all make sense, but I can't tell you what this thing is, but in 24 hours you will know. And then SF Investigates came out with that stupid ass video, and it's just like, oh, so annoying. Makes my head want to explode. Off topic here, but is it not bizarre that the neighbor's name is Harsh and that there's a creator called Harsh, not a common name? I have thought so too, Alistair Grant, and I don't think that's off topic at all. I have totally thought that too. Squirrely Burger says it was obvious that it was a fake from who it came from, but it's just that aspect of it. Right. If there was an accomplice now, I believe that it would or could possibly be Adam. I think there's that possibility, but I really think that little part of the conversation between Kaylee and Maddie is fabricated. I don't believe that is part of the videotape, and I'll get to that in just a minute. Let me finish your things and then we'll get to that. I knew it was fake, but the clouds weren't in my reasoning, LOL. Right. I mean, there's just too much information. You're looking for all the headlights and you're looking for this and you're looking for that. And yeah, they said that it was a photograph with an overlay. So, that would make sense then for the clouds to not move if they're part of the photograph that has the overlay. Okay. What bothered me as when they were having a party at their house and they weren't home, that's got to be an easy house to learn the locks and stuff. Well, they said they weren't home. I don't necessarily believe that none of them were home. Um, yeah, I mean, it was a party house and it may not have been their routine to lock the doors. Although, they're young women living in a house, they should know that there's creeps out there, obviously. I mean, they had locks on their doors, but still, they should have everybody's house should be locked. I don't care who you are, or where you live. It's just the reality these days. Um, yep, exactly. Mine too. Laura Daddy G. I think telling Adam anything set ex Jack off into a jealous rage. Kaylee was partying in a bar all night, slaps ex Jack again, knowing Kaylee still never bothered to call ex Jack until she was done party. Pixie Knicker says Boy Ray was the guy who had the blood in the sink. Thank you, Pixie Knickers. Yeah, I was asking that question earlier and I couldn't remember. So thanks for getting that information up here. He was the one on the live with allegedly Brittany. Didn't know if you seen my comment on our last live. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Pixie Knickers. So I actually have not seen that allegedly Brittany episode yet with Boy Ray on it, and I want to. So thanks for bringing that all up. And yeah, what I wanted to share about the my not believing the audio on that surveillance camera is something that was being spoken to in a real recent allegedly Brittany video, either from today or last night. Let me see a couple of these last comments here, and then we'll talk more about that. The two surviving roommates are being hush hush. Yes, Rhonda R. They are, and I'm sure there's many reasons for that. I would imagine that law enforcement has instructed them to be hush hush. Normally, that's what would happen in a situation like that. Also, all the criticism that is, social media, we chew people up and spit them out, even when we have good intentions, right? So I can see where anybody having any connection to it would want to steer clear of becoming the fodder for the social media. Pixie Knicker says, I'm late, so I don't know if you mentioned it earlier in this live. No, I did not. The Boy Ray being in the allegedly Brittany. And then I leave my doors open and unlocked during the day, even if I leave, but never at night. I always make sure the doors are locked at night. Yeah, good. He comes on at approximately 8:40 to 45-minute mark, and I'll write that down. Thank you. 8:40 to the 45-minute mark, and that's is that allegedly from Sunday night, I think? Allegedly Brittany. She's been on it, hasn't she? Um Laura Daddy G says, did you see Kaylee's dad say the video was real and they had it from the beginning? I did, but the video, I don't know that he's really addressing the audio. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I did hear him say that law enforcement and the family was aware of that video from, I think they said day 3. But I don't know if that included the audio. I don't know if the audio came after, and maybe it did come after, and maybe it is authentic, but I don't know. It's just so unusual to have audio on an outdoor cam like that. I mean, I've never seen it really. I don't think. Um, I'm sure they got to be hush hush dang in these days. You can't break up with a boyfriend or girlfriend. You can't divorce your wife or husband because you might get murdered. Tilly Owens. Unfortunately, it's been that way for a long time with domestic violence and control freaks. And yeah, you really, anybody hurting somebody who's trying to get out of the relationship, I mean, you're only confirming that you're somebody to not stay in a relationship with, right? I mean, it's awful. It brings to mind a funny movie called I Love You to Death. It's Tracy Ullman and Kevin Kline. It's based on a true story that happened in Tacoma, Washington. And it's got a great cast: River Phoenix, Keanu Reeves, William Hurt, Joan Plowright, Phoebe Cates, Victoria Jackson. The list goes on and on. And it's a really good movie. But it's kind of about that. And I'll just leave it there. If you want to see it, it's funny. It's cute. I love you to death. How would this guy have a pick of blood in sync? Right, Blackella. Hi. And I mean, it certainly looks like blood. It looks like blood clots, but who knows? I mean, I would imagine that there's some pretty good fake blood that you can purchase. Hey, Captain Kurt Reacts, what up? Thanks for being here and saying hi. So yeah, I caught your 6-minute video slamming that rat bastard. What's his face? Not even worth mentioning. Ugh, the gremlin. That's what I like to call him. Anybody that wants to can throw his name in here. Let's see. I I don't pay attention to him at all. He's ridiculous, isn't he? Some people think he looks like Tony Dodge. What do you think, Captain Kurt? Do you think that guy, the Glairer, do you think he's Tony Dodge? I'm curious if you guys have opinions of that. Anybody who thinks it's Tony Dodge, put a 1. If you think it's not Tony Dodge, put a 2 in the comments. I'm going to read through these. I have my doors locked all the time. I'm usually here most of the day by myself, for sure. At night, I do too many prowl at night. Crime Crochet, my hyper focus. Hey, lady. We always lock our windows and doors each night. I can never understand why other people don't. Yes. Mark says, hello, Kurt. He's also said Adam was their bartender. Right. Uh-huh. I questioned the voices until I saw Kaylee's dad. Well, and Kaylee's dad could be tricked too. I mean, my goodness, that man is just swimming in an emotional mess, right? I mean, it'd be easy to fool somebody in a situation like that. Crime and Crochet, we leave our windows open at night in the summer to cool off the house. We don't use air conditioning. I do have guard dogs, though, that live in my home. Dogs are the best for protection like that. Oh, wait, my old, but like some Kevin Kline. Kevin Kline is awesome, but Tracy Ullman is so amazing in that. She's a fabulous actress that many people are familiar with. Tracy Ullman, and many people aren't familiar with her. She was a stand-up comedian from the UK that had like a half-hour sitcom, which is where The Simpsons got its start. They had like a 2-minute clip in the middle of her 2 15-minute halves. Tracy Ullman, the Tracy Ullman Show. So that's where The Simpsons got its start, with that little 2-minute clip. Anyway, you have a great memory. Oh, thanks, Blackella. Sometimes. Allegedly with Brittany, Idaho 4. Let's talk about this new audio is the title. Cool. Thanks, Pixie Knickers. And I'm getting caught up here. Jazz, I'm just so glad when we have this time together, everybody feeling the love again. Oh, me too. And I'm planning on continuing the lives because I absolutely love them. Rhonda R says, can't stand him. I think she's talking about the Glairer. Ooh, I thought it was teeth. Captain Kurt React says, yeah, I can't stand that guy. We have windows unlocked upstairs at night. No AC either. Often needed in the UK. Not often needed in the UK. So Susan Dodge says, too, she doesn't think that it's Tony. That film was from a while ago. Oh yeah, the I Love You to Death. That was very old. Probably 1990, somewhere around there. But like I said, it was based on a true story that happened in Tacoma, Washington, which was just like half an hour from where I lived in Olympia, Washington. And yeah, a weird story, cute, funny, but also, getting into domestic violence. But the husband wasn't the abuser, it was the wife actually. And hit the like button, please. Betty Jewel says the Blair like the YouTube channel. No, he's just some gopher man, lol. Squirrely Burger too. Um, yeah, he is creepy AF. I'll leave it at that. We have surveillance cameras on our house due to neighbor issues. New neighbor asked why we had cameras, and I told her because of the woman who lived in your house. Yeah, we have surveillance cameras around our house too. And in this day and age, I just think that cameras are a good thing. Dash cams, body cams if you need them. Like Gabby Petito, she almost kind of had a body cam with her filming everything. And I think we've all seen the video where it looks like Brian is about to give her the backhand when she says, Gabby Petito never goes outside. And she kind of pushes him and he does that. And it's just like, wow, if you haven't caught that part of it, and you might know the little clip I'm talking about. The two of them are walking outside, and she says, Gabby Petito never goes outside. And then he just about backhands her, but she's got him on tape, so he doesn't. And that's probably why he didn't. We have surveillance cameras on our house. Okay, got that. I like Tracy and Klein. Yeah. And Keanu Reeves, but more River Phoenix was my love. I love that guy. I was so sad when he didn't make it uh, out of the Viper Room that Johnny Depp was an owner with. And what was that, 1994, I think? I'm not trying to show off that I have a memory. I think I remember that it was 1994 when River Phoenix died at the Viper Room in Hollywood. That was awful, 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 awful. What a loss. And getting in on the tail end, don't forget to like and subscribe. Captain Kurt says too. He thinks it's not the same guy as that other one. A Fish Called Wanda. Yeah, that's a hilarious movie with Kevin Kline. He is really good. Please see my comment, dear. Not so dumb blonde. How did I miss your comment? Not so dumb blonde. Where did it go? I thought I was like catching all of them. Let's see if I can find it. You're not sending me on a wild goose chase. I know you wouldn't do that, but it's like way back here, unless I just like am blind. Not seeing it. Let's see. Okay. Not so dumb blonde. Where is your comment? It didn't get deleted, did it? Did it? Maybe it did. Getting back to where you said that. Yeah, it's not there. I wonder if it got deleted. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, if you want to type it out again, I don't know if the mod might have taken it down. All caps 355. Okay. Oh, you know what? It's the all caps that sometimes takes it down automatically. That's why. So yeah, if you're able to type it in there again, um, and I'm not sure what that is. That's like a thing with spam. And so I didn't know that YouTube might have deleted it or something like that, or maybe Crime and Crochet as the mod did. But yeah, there's something about all caps that you're not supposed to do because maybe it seems like you're yelling. All right. So yeah, I'm real curious what your comment was. Not so dumb blonde. I know you have very sharp comments, so please retype it if you don't mind. New neighbor was worried, but said psycho later had gone now, so it's all nice and calm again. what kind of cameras people ring, Nest, or more sophisticated Blockella. My husband does the technology in my house, so I can't even say I'm really ignorant with that type of stuff. He's really good with that type of stuff, so I just leave it to him. Let's see. Laura, I love the fish called Wanda. Are you kidding me? That is awesome. Gabby was a warrior, Gregory Worth says. Oh my goodness. And what she put up with that scumbag. Awful. Dilly, it was funny, all caps. So yeah, not so dumb blonde. We're still waiting if you wanted to retype it in. Not me, probably because of all caps, or if it contains a link, maybe YouTube bashed it. Right. If it has a link in it, because like only mods are supposed to drop links. So these are all good things for all of us to know. We learn as we go, right? So I think we'll start to wrap up. Not so dumb blonde. If you want to put it back in the lowercase letters, I'm really curious now what it was. Like I said, I know your comments are super sharp. So thanks you guys so much for joining me, and I am just starting to lose hope about there being an arrest on the Moscow homicide before Christmas. I was really hoping for that for the families, but we'll see. We'll see. There's still a few days. Let's see. I've done so many chat faux pas. It's all good, Jazz. We are finding our groove back. It seems to not show up if you use the word Google, which is weird as YouTube is owned by Google. Oh, that's funny. Interesting. So yeah, Way Street, A1 Way Street. Oh, that's a cute name. And also, any news on the Wandras and Michael V? I have not followed that case, the Michael V case. Heartbreaking, but I think it's ex Jack D. Laura Daddy God. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree with your opinion there. Caleb says, good afternoon. Always one Ray Street. Thank you. Michael Vaughn. Yeah, what he was so little. I mean, all crime is evil, but with these little tiny children, it's just gut wrenching. Absolutely gut wrenching. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off, you guys. I am so happy that you're here. It's always hard to say goodbye because it's like we're just having the groove going on. So in closing, I always do my little spiel about drinking your agua, getting your exercise, getting your rest, being nice to yourself, kind to other people, not accepting people to be anything except kind to you, and then eating healthy, right? We cover it all: fruits, veggies, protein. Um, Ahoy, crime and crochet. We missed you to the moon and back. It's all good. We love you. Hey, Caleb. Have a great afternoon. So, yeah, you guys, in closing, if you haven't hit that like button yet, please hit the like button on the way out. And again, thank you so much for being here. I'm just hoping for a miracle with an arrest, with some justice for the families with the Idaho 4. Wouldn't that be awesome? And Not So Dumb Blonde says TTFN, and I am not all up with my thingamabobs. TTFN. I'll Google that. All right, you guys, have a blessed day. And ta-ta for now. Thank you. That's cute. I love it. Okay, you guys. I will see you in the morning. We'll plan on it. Be there, be square. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Take care.